This cabbage is inedible because it may cause cancer. This is a very common phenomenon. Our food tables of ordinary people. Medicine. What medicine? Chinese cabbage contains formaldehyde, added intentionally. On July 30th, the test results for our first batch of Chinese cabbage came out, confirming the presence of formaldehyde. Today, Brother Qi will take everyone to the area where Zhangjiakou, Hebei Province, and Inner Mongolia meet to see what is currently the largest Chinese cabbage production area in China and uncover the industry's unspoken rules. Let's go! Food safety issues in China are nothing new, but every news exposé refreshes people's moral bottom line. This time it's Chinese cabbage dipped in formaldehyde. This not only terrified the Chinese, but also caused panic among the South Korean public. Why? Because almost all of the kimchi imported by South Korea is produced in China. On August 24th, the South Korean Ministry of Food and Drug Safety stated that it was confirming through channels such as the Chinese Embassy in South Korea whether the cabbages in question have been exported to South Korea. In this episode, we'll see how formaldehyde has become a frozen chain substitute for the ordinary Chinese people. On August 22nd of this year, a Chinese self-media blogger, Fishing and Hunting Brother Qi, posted a video of formaldehyde-treated cabbage. The location was Kongbo County, Zhangjiakou City, Hebei Province, one of China's largest cabbage-producing areas. The blogger first filmed the scene with a drone and then decided to risk approaching to investigate. He saw bottles labeled formaldehyde solution discarded on the ground next to the truck loaded with cabbages. There, he randomly selects several trucks. Here, the blogger sees a worker on site picking up a cabbage and soaking it in a basin on the truck. Without a doubt, both sides of the truck cabbages are being dipped. Look. See, the other side is being dipped too. Now we've come to this side. There are medicine basins on both sides, both being dipped. This is also formaldehyde. Formaldehyde solution, also known as formalin, is an aqueous solution of formaldehyde, HCHO, with a concentration of approximately 37 to 40%. It has a strong pungent odor and preservation and disinfectant properties, and is widely used in medical specimen fixation and industrial manufacturing. Formaldehyde is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization and is strictly prohibited from use as a food preservative. Large amounts of this industrial chemical may cause abdominal pain, vomiting, kidney damage, and, in severe cases, even death. The blogger pretends to inquire about transportation prices, however, the vendor is very wary. Hey, where are you taking these cabbages? Jiangsu. Jiangsu, how do you change the transportation fee? It's paid per trip. We're also looking into cabbage transportation. Are you taking it to Yangcheng or Changzhou in Jiangsu? If there are no delays on the road, it'll be fast. If there are, it'll be slower. Then why is there a basin? What's that for? I don't know. Can I have your contact information? Which vegetable market is Suqian? The blogger then tried to get information about the workers. The workers were less wary. How long will you keep them fresh? 3 or 2 days. 3 or 2 days isn't long. After soaking them, delivered for 1 day, a few more days for eating. This is absolutely outrageous. This is a very common phenomenon. The blogger tracked down the cabbages to a farmer's market in another province and sent them for testing. Formaldehyde residue was detected. While formaldehyde is highly volatile, cabbage dipped in formaldehyde should absolutely not be eaten. Why? Because it's not a surface issue. Plants are different from animals. When you cut a plant, the upper parts keep functioning normally. Transpiration continues. Especially right after the cutting, the upper body's functions are almost unaffected. If you dip it in formaldehyde, the transpiration from the roots will still flow into the cabbage. So it's not a surface issue. Kongbao County is an important summer vegetable production area in northern China. Every August, large quantities of Chinese cabbage are harvested and transported by truckload to agricultural markets across the country, including Jiangsu and Anhui provinces. Why are these Chinese cabbages dipped in formaldehyde? Summer-harvested Chinese cabbage has a shelf life of 2 to 3 days at room temperature. Transporting Chinese cabbage from northern China to consumer markets across the country takes 1 to 3 days each way. High summer temperatures, long-distance transport, and uncertain sales cycles in destination markets significantly increase the risk of spoilage and loss. If handled properly, these Chinese cabbages need to be pre-cooled at the production site and then transported using a 0 to 3 degrees Celsius cold chain throughout the entire process. This standard procedure can extend the safe turnover period of the cabbages to more than 10 days. Of course, the cost of cold chain transportation is higher. Chinese media reporters found through third-party freight platforms that taking the route from Kongbo to Suqian, Jiangsu as an example, the freight cost for a 30-ton ambient temperature truck is about 7,600 yuan, while the freight cost for a refrigerated truck of the same size is about 12,000 yuan, a price difference of 4,400 yuan or about $600 US, representing a 50% increase in cold chain transportation costs. Industry analysts in China believe that switching Chinese cabbages from ambient temperature transport to cold chain transport could directly increase total costs by about 10%. Compliant cold chain cabbage has appeared in supermarkets, with its retail price nearly doubling. The report stated, several industry insiders admitted that precisely because of cost considerations, most Chinese cabbages transported during the summer are transported in ordinary trucks, and the industry rarely uses a full cold chain model. This aligns with what Brother Qi observed. To summarize, after 2 days of investigation, all the trucks we randomly selected at the production site that were destined for other provinces were found to be using formaldehyde solution. On one truck, we directly photographed bottles containing formaldehyde. On July 30th, at the sales location, we confirmed the presence of formaldehyde at the Zhougu Tui market in Hefei, and it was indeed shipped from Hebei. The report also quoted a senior legal professional as saying, "Formaldehyde is a non-food material explicitly prohibited by law and has carcinogenic properties. Intentionally committing this act constitutes a criminal offense." Of course, Chinese laws often exist only on paper and are not applied in practice. Brother Qi's video immediately went viral on Chinese social media, alarming the public. They questioned, "Where did the formaldehyde-tested cabbage go? This is so harmful. We've been eating this toxic cabbage for years. No wonder so many people are getting cancer now." Some netizens dug up a television program from 4 years ago, broadcast by official Chinese media, mocking people for using formaldehyde test kits to test vegetables and fruits. National Television's agricultural program host, "Hello fans," recently some fans messaged me saying that this formaldehyde self-test kit tested mushrooms and showed excessive formaldehyde levels. What kind of nonsense is this? Just look at that color, the formaldehyde levels are seriously excessive. It's this seafood mushroom, try to eat less of it in the future. This formaldehyde air quality self-test kit, look at the packaging, it directly says on it, semi-functional, not used as legal basis for testing. What does that mean? For reference only, but those online tests did show a color change, so does it actually contain formaldehyde? The host finally concluded that using test kits to test vegetables and fruits for formaldehyde is neither accurate nor necessary. Furthermore, under normal circumstances, formaldehyde is inhaled and causes harm, so the question is, do you buy vegetables to smell them or to eat them? Even if these foods contain formaldehyde, formaldehyde is highly volatile. If the supermarket has left them out for half a day, wouldn't they have completely evaporated by the time you bring them home? Even if they haven't completely evaporated, formaldehyde is water-soluble, and you'll wash the vegetables after you buy them. In response, netizens commented, "Substituting stance for facts will ultimately be taught a lesson by facts." A Jihu user wrote, "The end of formaldehyde-laden cabbage is the spring of pharmaceutical companies. Every food safety incident in the short term is a scandal, but in the long term it's a key performance indicator for the pharmaceutical industry." Some netizens even poignantly praise formaldehyde. Formaldehyde-treated cabbage is the poor man's cold chain. It's the secret weapon for long-distance transportation, a real-life version of the poor man's preservation techniques. It's cheap, it's the cold chain, it's the one that will ultimately be alive. Under public pressure on August 22nd, the Kongbo County government issued a statement confirming that the video showing cabbage being dipped in formaldehyde solution during the purchasing process was authentic and illegal. Officials have taken coercive measures against the relevant personnel and vehicles, and the case is under further investigation. Shortly afterward, many local governments in China urgently distanced themselves from the issue. For example, the Fengtai district government in Beijing announced that as of the evening of August 22nd, after a comprehensive investigation, the cabbage in question had not entered their market in Beijing. The blogger who posted the exposé video, Brother Chi, changed his stance a day later. On August 23rd, he posted a video saying that local authorities had set up checkpoints on the roads leading out of the cabbage-producing areas to seal and sample cabbage leaving the county for testing. He claimed that the formaldehyde-treated cabbage currently doesn't leave the production area at all, and that the next period should be the safest time for cabbage. But do you believe this denial? Judging by reactions on Chinese social media, Chinese people don't believe it. Furthermore, Chinese netizens quickly found reports from Chinese official media in 2012. 14 years ago, several official Chinese Communist Party media outlets, including the national news agencies and Shaoxiang Morning Post, reported that vegetable vendors in Qingzhou, Shandong, were spraying formaldehyde solution to preserve cabbages during long-distance transport. The report said some vendors had used this formaldehyde preservation method for 3 or 4 years and that it was prevalent across various regions. The report also mentioned that long-term inhalation of formaldehyde can cause leukemia, and in men it can cause sperm abnormalities. At the time, industry insiders suggested that the government should quickly improve the regulatory system for formaldehyde use and severely crack down on the abuse of preservatives. In June 2015, a vegetable wholesale market in Dingzhou, Hebei, also exposed the problem of vendors using formaldehyde to preserve cabbages and prevent spoilage. A netizen forwarded the above old post commenting, 14 years have passed and mobile phones have gone through countless generations, yet the preservation technology for cabbage is still stuck on formaldehyde. What's truly frightening isn't the cabbage that's already been discovered, but those that weren't caught on camera. Ordinary people buy cabbage to cook at home, not to conduct chemistry experiments. As the incident unfolded, the panic wasn't limited to the Chinese. On August 23rd, a South Korean shared Brother Chi's video on the X platform and called for a halt to imports of Chinese kimchi. South Korean netizens commented, "Seriously, China is going crazy. How could they do something like this? When we eat kimchi in restaurants, is it actually Chinese cabbage? So annoying." I think I saw a news report saying that the origin label no longer says made in China, but made abroad. This is a huge problem. The original poster responded, "Most of the kimchi in restaurants is probably from China. This is the worst." Another X-user wrote in Korean, "Restaurants must check the origin of their kimchi. A comprehensive and thorough customs inspection of imported cabbage and processed foods is urgently needed." According to a report in the South Korean newspaper Kookmin Ilbo in October 2025, South Korea imported 250,000 tons of kimchi from January to September of that year, 99% of which was from China. The report also stated that as consumers become increasingly reliant on Chinese kimchi and cases of counterfeit kimchi being sold as Korean products continue to rise, consumer trust is being tested. China's state television also reported that in 2024, South Korea imported 310,000 tons of kimchi, 99.98% of which came from China. South Korean media outlet E-Daily reported that in 2020, China exported 186 tons of kimchi to South Korea, accounting for 99% of South Korea's kimchi imports that year. This figure remained relatively stable over the past 5 years, 2015 to 2019. Furthermore, a 2024 survey of 1,517 Korean restaurants by the Korea Agro Fisheries and Food Trade Corporation found that 55.4% of the restaurants surveyed said the kimchi used in their main dishes was imported, whether used as a side dish or a main course. Public data show that the vast majority of kimchi, finished products exported from China to South Korea comes from Shandong province, which Chinese media exposed as early as 2012. These factories source their cabbages nationwide to ensure year-round supply. Hebei and Inner Mongolia are imported supplementary sources, especially during specific seasons. Kongbao County, as Brother Chi revealed, is a major vegetable-producing area north of Zhangjiakou. Some cabbages are transported to Shandong for processing into kimchi before being exported to South Korea, as well as to countries like Thailand and Vietnam. Will this significantly reduce global sales of South Korean kimchi? In contrast, Japanese netizens noted that in Japan, transporting cabbages over 1,000 kilometers requires cold chain logistics. According to a friend who works in a vegetable wholesale industry, soaking vegetables, fruits, and seafood in formaldehyde is an open secret in the industry. Vendors don't want to do it, but they have no choice. If you don't soak them in formaldehyde, they easily rot, and you might end up with unsold goods and lose money. Please remember the following types of food. Avoid eating them if possible. The foods this woman warned about include packaged vegetables, frozen seafood, pickled chicken feet, garlic sprouts, mushrooms, out-of-season fruits, sweet potato noodles, etc. Why is food safety in China so serious, yet there's never a solution? First, since the CCPC's power, it has created a price scissors effect between industrial and agricultural products, suppressing agricultural prices. Excessively low prices force farmers and vendors to adulterate agricultural products with various chemicals and even toxins to reduce costs and gain profits. At the same time, the CCP systematically destroyed traditional Chinese culture, replacing it with party culture, which is essentially a culture that encourages people to harm and fight each other. Chinese society's morality has completely collapsed. Vendors are driven solely by profit, without any sense of conscience. On the other hand, the CCP has built a firewall for food safety for its officials. CCP officials, especially high-ranking ones, have special food supplies and don't face these concerns. So they naturally don't bother to check the safety of food consumed by ordinary people. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.